Here is something you will never hear anybody say. I love his content. He's exactly like Peter McKinnon. Personal branding, as the name indicates, is personal. It's about you. You are the product. It's your person. It's your personality. It cannot be outsourced and it cannot be copied because there's only one you. In this video, I'm going to discuss a bunch of different tips to help you figure out what makes you, well, you. Recently, I published this quote in the community tab of our YouTube channel. The quote says, "Be yourself. Everybody else is already taken." It's from Oscar Wilde. I posted that because every day I see content creators struggling on social media, trying to find their own voice. Or even worse, not understanding they need to find their own voice, their own uniqueness, and instead focusing on trying to copy or trying to be like some other big shot influencers or content creators. We see this all the time. Vloggers trying to edit their videos like Peter McKinnon, entrepreneurs trying to talk like or to mimic Gary Vee's style, or female course creators or content creators trying to emulate the content of Marie Forleo or Amy Porterfield. The problem with that is that they're not creating their personal brand. They are merely emulating somebody else's brand. And guys, believe me, this is doomed to failure because personality cannot be copied and cannot be transferred. You need to start being you. So let's go a bit deeper. What does that mean, being you, right? Creating a personal brand is the act of finding out the best way to promote you, to market you, and to sell you, to find the unique value that you represent and communicate that to the world via your content or via your brand. But let's face it, you're probably not the first, the best, nor the most popular expert in your given field. Unless you are Gary Vee, Peter McKinnon, or Marie Forleo, you are competing with people that have bigger followings, more prestigious client portfolios, or simply more experience. They've been in the game longer than you. So how do you deal with that? How do you get noticed with your content with little to zero marketing budget in a crowded marketplace? What's the best way to separate yourself from all the other content creators out there? Well, the answer to that is by positioning yourself. Like Seth Godin says, by deciding to stand for something, not everything. Let's clarify what positioning means by looking at the definition of positioning. Positioning yourself or positioning your personal brand means deciding where your products, service, and content stand in relation to others offering similar product, service, and content in the marketplace, as well as in the mind of the consumers. Let's unpack this because there are two very important things here. First, positioning yourself in the marketplace. And second, positioning yourself in the mind of the consumers. Let's dive a bit deeper in each of these important concepts. Let's start with positioning yourself in the marketplace. How do you separate yourself from the competition? So one way of doing this is to target a specific group of people. The idea is to be the opposite of generic, is to be specific. Who do I want to serve? Get really clear on the market segment you want to serve. If you try to please everybody, there's a good chance that your content will be average or vanilla and not worth listening to. Try to identify a segment of the market that has been ignored by your competitors or by the other content creators. Another great way to differentiate yourself in the marketplace is to do one or two things very well. Doing one or two things very well means to specialize, to become an expert in a very narrow field, to focus on a specific problem, and to do a better job than the competition at solving that problem or bringing answers to that problem. And this comes from the fact that you cannot be all things to everyone. You need to specialize. And you can decide to specialize in a few different things. You can specialize in your line of work, like for example we are doing with design. You can specialize in your product, like we are doing with Canva. You can specialize in your industry or your niche. In our case, it's graphic design for non-designers. You can specialize in the media you use. In our case, again, it's video. Or you can specialize in the community or the platform that you use. Could be a Facebook group or a YouTube channel. But the point is, try to laser focus on one thing. People need to be able to tell other people what you do in one simple sentence. In order to decide what you should specialize in, I recommend this. Go spy on your competitors or on your fellow content creators for a little while and focus on what people complain about. So go through their YouTube channel and read the comments on their latest videos. Are people always asking for the same thing? Or are they complaining about something in particular? Read their students' testimonials if they teach online and identify the patterns. Is something missing? Do they receive regular negative feedback about the way they teach? Focus on the negative reviews. You want to pinpoint their weaknesses and double down on that while creating your own content. The idea is to find ways to improve opportunities in the niche that are not yet tapped into. Excel at what your competitors are not doing well. Fill up that gap in the market. My second piece of advice when it comes to finding your own voice is to position yourself in the mind of the consumers. How do you make sure your audience separates you from your competitors? And how do you make sure they even remember you in the first place? Well, let me introduce you to this idea. And I am aware this might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But here we go. People do not care about you, your product, or your content. The only thing they care about is how all of this will serve them. And that's not from me, that is from Seth Godin. What people care about is how you, via your product, your services, or your content, can help them achieve the change they are seeking in their lives. They care about the way your product, your service, or your content will make them feel. So marketing should really be about making people feel things. And of course, feeling arises in people's mind, which brings us back to positioning yourself in the mind of the consumers. So now, how do we do that? Well, instead of focusing on us and trying to sell our audience something, we need to focus on the people we've decided to serve. People have needs, wants, dreams, and fears. Sometimes they experience pains and challenges. So your job as a content creator is to 1. Understand what your audience want. Number 2, create content that is aligned with their want. And number 3, to spread the word by building a story that resonates with them. This last point is very important when it comes to finding your own voice. To position yourself in people's mind, you need to tell them a unique and compelling story. Figuring out how to tell your story, your very own unique personal story, is so important when it comes to building a powerful personal brand. Because your story will help you differentiate from your competitors, from the other content creators out there. That is the part that nobody can copy. Look guys, I'm going to leave you a video right here introducing my 10 steps to build a powerful personal brand. And if you want to dive deeper into building your personal brand, I'm gonna have a link to my personal brand master course on Udemy in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.